let's try this. Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the August 31st meeting of the Master Plan Implementation Committee. I'm Chris Fowles, acting chair, and we have present Cindy Palmer, Jim Sini, Christina Madsen, and Ken Comia, our PVPC consultant. As per the governor's orders of March 2020, we are still meeting via Zoom, so a remote meeting as usual. We are still not allowed in town hall, nor are we able to be in close proximity. Therefore, we'll continue our Zoom meetings. We may have Brittany joining us, I'm not sure. Both Francine and Margaret are attending the Hampshire Regional School Committee meeting tonight, so unless that magically ends early, I would not expect them to join in. So at this point, we do have a quorum. We have a total of 7 members on the committee right now, and we have 4 of us present tonight, so I would say we have our quorum. Therefore, let us, we are officially calling the meeting to order at about 7:10. I don't see any public, so any public comments are probably nothing in particular there, and I will bring up the minutes of the last meeting, if I can find them. Just a second. Yeah, okay, oopsie, hold on. I lost you guys, just a second. I'm gonna do that better now. Try the share screen. Okay. Okay. This is the, these are the minutes from the last meeting, so I'd like to go through those and see if anybody has any comments or questions, or if we can approve those minutes. And let me see if I can scroll.
I did look at them. I thought they looked fine.
Yeah, any, and I think one thing, Cindy, if you'll just check on Margaret's spelling again, I believe it's S-O-N for Larson.
Okay, I'll fix that, sorry.
Yeah, we keep getting her S-E-N, and I know she's corrected us a couple times here.
I apologize.
Yeah, other than that, I don't know if there was any other particular thing. Did anybody else, Christina, did they see anything? Or
No, looks good.
all right, could I have a motion then to approve the minutes as written?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, and we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Palmer, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Manson, yes.
All's yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so minutes are approved. That sounds good. Francine just came in with her number, 789. So we'll see if anybody else does. Okay, so with that in mind, I think what we need to do is go to old business first. What we were planning to do, and I think if everybody is in agreement, I know this was our issue last time, we do need to elect new officers just because we're in a new year, essentially. We're in the same boat as we were, in fact, one less than last time because we didn't have Margaret or Francine last time either. So up to the will of the committee if we want to hold on until we have the full group here to elect officers, or try to do that this evening.
Well, go ahead, Christine, sorry.
Well, I just, if there's an urgency, maybe we should, but if not, it would be good to get everyone who can have. May I ask this? I'm assuming that Mike and George have both formally resigned. Is that right?
Right. Mike has actually resigned, and we've had that before us at select board, and so we dealt with that last week. George has also resigned, but I know he sent it in to Lucy, but somehow that paperwork didn't get to us at select board to officially recognize. But yes, they both have resigned from the committee. Yeah.
That was just an aside. So
right.
I think Jim recommended waiting last time, and I'm of that mind, but unless there is an urgency.
To my knowledge, there's no real urgency. It's more of a formality, and you know, it would have been done when we had the new year, which would have been whatever, July realistically in terms of our new fiscal year, I think. So there isn't any real urgency. I would hope though that we might have another meeting rather than waiting maybe a full month for one. We might have an interim meeting, maybe if it's just even a short one at some point, just to get an interim look on the survey. But we'll see when we get to that. So there isn't. Cindy, do you have any thoughts on that? Or
I reiterate exactly what Christina just said. If there's no urgency, I think we should wait until Margaret and Francine and Brittany can be present.
All right, that's fine. Not a problem. Good. The thing that we started talking about a little bit last week, just to finish up on some old business, was issues of sort of the future of the master plan committee. And I found some information which I sent out because we were confused about some of the makeup of the committee, how many we really were and where they came from and how some of it started. I don't know if everybody have a chance to take a look at that. If not, I can try to pull that up. There were some notes from 2018 when the committee was formed, and then basically, let me find the right email here, just a second. Come on, my cursor is doing crazy things. So in the August 21st, 2018 meeting, the membership and terms were sort of talked about at the select board. There were no established terms, and members were listed as until completed, which is a little bit of a scary thought. But basically, I think it was recommended that appointments would be for 1 year. So then Ed Gibson had reached out for the various committees to nominate their people and clarified that the total number would be 4 at-large members, not 6 as had previously been thought. And then in the actual master plan itself, at the beginning of chapter 9, we do have some guidance that was set up here, which just basically said that we would be a deliberative body focusing on advancing the recommendations of the document. Suggested membership was below, and the select board was going to make those appointments, and so those, and establish the duration of the appointment. And so from the list below, I'll read it out. 1 from planning board, 1 from select board, 1 from historical commission, 1 from conservation commission, 1 from housing authority, 1 from park commission, and 4 residents at large. So that gets us our 10 total people that we would have. We have had, with the absence of Megan, who left us quite a while ago, we've had that vacancy from parks for quite a while. So the parks and then the 2 at-large members now give us our 7 out of the 10. The part in here on implementation of the recommendations, and again, this is part of the plan from 2013, talked about the implementation action plan recommendations is intended to assist the committee in prioritizing activities and resources. Prioritization is a significant and important early task for the committee and will be considered by achieving consistency and integration with other existing plans and ongoing planning activities such as the open space plan, historical commission, school committee, capital planning, etc. And the master plan has a planning horizon of approximately 15 years. So master plan is an ongoing process in which the community continually evaluates and responds to new circumstances and challenges, and the goals and desires of the residents and businesses are likely to change over time. So it's important for Southampton to regularly measure the goals of the plan. So that's basically how it was set up, just to refresh our memories. I had originally thought that somehow most everybody's appointments from their various committees and or select board for myself and the at-large members and Francine were going to expire in 2020. That was my thinking until I actually looked on our town website under the master plan committee, and absolutely all of our appointments end in 2021. So what I don't know is what month in 2021. I'm kind of guessing June 30th, but I really, just because it's the end of the fiscal year, but I don't know that for sure. So I will go back to Ed and ask him just to verify, or Lucy, just to verify what month we all expire, technically, because I had originally thought that we had to reappoint people tonight or find out if people wanted to be reappointed, but technically we're all still on. So if there is anybody that does feel like they can't continue, we would need to know that and then reach out to your respective committees to get somebody else to fill in your place. that's kind of where that is. And I think as we talked last week, I don't foresee us meeting anywhere near as frequently as we have been. So I think our time commitment is going to be significantly different from what it has been this year. Cindy, you had a question?
Yeah, two questions. One is, I'm sorry for the minutes.
Yep.
You went kind of fast. What
Sorry.
select board meeting were you referencing in the one that referred to the makeup of the select board, I mean, of the master plan implementation committee? You said August something of 2018. What was the date
I
on
believe
that?
August 21st, I believe.
Okay, 21st, okay.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the paper I sent out. It's in the
Oh,
footer.
sorry, okay.
Yep.
And the second thing is it necessary for those boards and committees from which we represent, my case being the planning board, is it necessary for there to be a motion or an approval for me to go forward on this, given that, me, Cindy Palmer from the select board, given that the appointment goes through to 2021, question mark, what month?
Yeah, I don't think so. Originally, I thought we did
Okay.
need to reach out and do that, but if indeed we all end up in 2021, then we've still got months to serve before we have to reach out to get the reappointment from those individual committees. Select board would reappoint the select board person, obviously, and any of the members at large.
Okay,
But everyone else is appointed by their own committees. So in that case, we would, ask the committees to reaffirm or appoint somebody new when the time comes up. But we don't need to do that tonight, which was my original thinking that we would need to. So
okay, just to clarify.
as I keep finding more information, we get a little bit more clarity here and there. But that's where we are at the moment. So I would like to just open it up for a discussion in terms of anybody's thoughts about what I've just said in terms of hanging in there and whatever our future idea is for going forward. I think we probably don't know too much until we get the results of the survey. I mean, I think that's going to be the key thing for us in terms of what that survey is showing us. And after we have, some sort of public presentation of that, certainly both to select board and planning board, but beyond that, do we know kind of what the future holds for, what our role might be. As I mentioned last time, I think we can be kind of the supporter, the resource entity, the nudge behind the scenes to try and keep moving things forward, rather than letting this just dissolve into nothing. So those are my thoughts, and that is still my opinion, that we need to still exist. But I'm going to shut up and let you guys talk. So feel free.
Are you saying, Chris, that we won't be able to determine frequency of meetings until we have the survey results? Was that?
Well,
did I understand that correctly?
It could be either way. I mean, I think we talked last time about maybe meeting quarterly. I'm not sure about that. I guess we could certainly start out with that idea, but I think once we do have the results known and presented, I guess I'm expecting, because we really serve kind of at the pleasure of the select board, right? I mean, we were created through them. So I think we would be waiting on guidance from them as to how they see our role and what they want us to do to help them make this a real actionable plan. So depending on what that looks like, maybe it's every 2 months, but it certainly is not every 2 weeks. I would not see that whatsoever. Yeah. Jim, any thoughts? I know you had some last time.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. As much as I'm feeling a little crispy, the reality is, if there's way too much work put in by this committee to essentially repeat what happened 8 years ago, 10 years ago, or whatever, after the last master plan. I mean, I can understand now why it happened, because people put in a lot of work and they're like, okay, we're done. And someone else, but the problem is there is no one else to kind of make sure it gets implemented. There has to be someone who keeps an eye on it. And I think this is a good forum to do that. I think the pace that you're suggesting would be appropriate, which like every couple months probably makes sense, because we're not going through data, we're not searching and everything, but we clearly will have some priorities that someone needs to remind the select board
Right.
of these priorities and the importance of them.
Yep.
And that the importance that, you know, all the effort the townspeople have spoken, if we don't respond to them, we really
Yep.
lose the confidence of the people in town if we don't do something with this.
Oh,
And I think
absolutely.
I think the MPIC needs to continue for that very reason and recognize that responsibility.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
point. Good point. Yeah, no, I think that's the challenge, you know, that things started up, you know, right after the plan was released last time, but, you know, never really got a good momentum going. Maybe because the task was so overwhelming, as we saw when we went back in to try and figure out some of those priorities, because there were so many in terms of priority strategies, that it became, you know, overwhelming. And I think with a little luck, we can get this more manageable and more focused. I'm hoping through the survey results that will allow us to really take some concrete steps forward. But
Right.
Cindy, thoughts?
I let me think how I want to phrase this. What I view is that we've created a really excellent team here of committed people. We need to add some more at-large people. We need to add people who are going to be equally committed to, you know, flesh out our committee. But I'm in favor of continuing, and hopefully, Chris, I think the world of you as a chairperson. I know you're not re-elected, but nonetheless, you have a way of sort of helping us be focused on this whole process. And we can be effective in doing what unfortunately didn't really get done in 2013, 2014. And that's how I view it at this point, that we don't want to lose this momentum. We want to engage the community. There's a lot of good things happening, in my opinion, in Southampton. And that we're sort of on the cusp of that whole, or, you know, riding the wave, if you will. And so that's how I see it right now. And I'm in favor of keeping going, trying to be very effective around meetings, using our time very efficiently, not getting off on tangents. That's not how I like meetings at all. Nobody else here does. And hopefully staying with the people that are on the MPIC right now and adding some really excellent at-large people at this point.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. No, I think, you know, that makes sense. So I think we can, you know, see where we want to go. We can talk about next meetings when we get to that point on the agenda. But I think we all agree that there's a role for us to play. And I envision, and I may be maybe too optimistic, I don't know. But I guess I would see that, you know, as we look at some of the priorities that come up, you know, if somebody, or if the survey shows us that there's a real interest in, I don't know, the broadband issue, for example, you know, better internet in town, somebody needs to spearhead that. But what I would like to see would be the idea of forming like I guess I'd call them an advisory group, and try to find, you know, maybe 3 people in town that have got some particular knowledge and skills in that subject matter to really be the legs to do the research and to help us understand what some of the options are, so that there could be something concrete eventually, you know, presented. So to that extent, you know, we might, you know, be a bit of a resource to that group or something. I mean, I don't know how this would play out, but that would be my thought, is that none of us are going to have the time to take each of these issues, nor is it our charge. And certainly select board too is not going to, you know, pick it up and do all the work themselves. So I almost think if there were people that were in town that had, and there are people out there that have got particular skills that we just don't know about, I'm sure that, you know, if we made it known that we are looking for a little mini advisory group to do a lot of the research and figure out some of these issues, some of the details that we can get our hands around, that might be one thing that we could help organize. But we'll see. I don't know how it goes. Okay. I think that was basically it in terms of that kind of future role. I think we're still on the old business per se, and I guess we may as well get towards some survey results. So I don't have anything obviously from Margaret or Brittany, but we'll have to see if I get something from them. We can have a second place runner if they come into play here somewhere. Anyway, so Ken, give us an idea, please, what you have, I guess both for, I don't know if you've got it separated out with the online return plus the hard copies I'd already given you, or how you've got it laid out.
I have, okay, so I'll start with the hard copies.
Okay.
I had, since I last saw Chris, I had 87 of those. I have just finished 67 of them, so I have 20 remaining, but 87. So 67 of those have already been incorporated into the online version, and the online number is 783.
Wow. 783. Okay. So then we need to add 20 to that?
Correct.
Am I correct my math if I'm not right?
That's correct.
All right. So that would get us 803. All right. And remind yourselves that it's 7:30. I put out a thing on Facebook just recently saying we've got 6 hours to go. So I'm going to call it at midnight. All right. So I'll check the box first thing in the morning. But all right. So 803. But guys, you didn't ask how many I have.
Yeah, Chris, don't tell us.
61.
Whoa.
You have an additional 61?
I have 61 hard copies that Ken has not seen.
Oh, that's a lot.
I went down tonight and I picked up 18 and just about fell over.
That's crazy.
So that gets us 864, guys.
That's awesome.
And I bet we'll have
Dang.
another 4 or 5, so, whatever.
Hey,
Isn't that great?
That's a great turn.
That is
hallelujah.
fantastic. So Cindy, I don't think you need your own jam.
So that means everybody gets a jar of jam. I only have 87 of those left. We all will get a jar of jam. Oh, great.
That's great. So let's see. Jim, you would actually be the next one at 796. So there you go. But that's amazing. That's real. I'm ecstatic, obviously. And
I'm so thrilled we made 800.
yeah, and I think we'll get another 4 or 5 in probably tonight. I wouldn't be surprised. So we might be like at 870. Now, one thing I just wanted to clarify too, in terms of our denominator, I know we've been talking the 6,100, but in reality, that's total citizen type thing. So when I talked to Lucy, she said our registered voters, I believe, are 4,400. Households is around 2,500 more or less, but 4,400. So let us do a mini bit of math here. Let me see that. 864 over 4,400, I believe, is about 19.6%.
That's
amazing.
fantastic.
Right.
That is
Amazing.
Incredible.
Even
Ken,
if you counted only, people over the age of 16, you probably get 10%. It's kids in town.
Yeah, well, you're right. Yeah, and the registered voters, you've got to be 18, I think, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
But I think we said that kids, 16-year-olds, anyone could fill it out. We didn't exclude,
right,
Yeah,
we said
I recollect.
19 and under. Was
19 and under. Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't have that many of those, and I had a couple in hard copy, but if they're more online than they are hard copy.
I
I'm just
recall
curious.
putting in 3 of them.
Yeah, so not too many of those, but we definitely have a wide number of the 70-year-old crowd and the 60s and 70s and over 80. I've seen a lot of those.
So
yeah,
Ken, from the online, I'm just curious, do we have a sense of the breakdown? Do we have many
Yeah,
under
let me,
19-year-olds?
Share my. Do you want me to share my screen, Chris, or I can just?
Sure, yeah, I can, yeah.
I'm just curious if I want to hear from that age group.
Are you able to share, Ken, or do I need to do something?
Let me,
I think I'm.
yeah, it still says host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Oopsie, okay, sorry. One person can share at a time. No, you should be able to.
Hmm.
No.
I was just curious. We don't have to,
Well, let me try advanced sharing options. Okay,
Weird.
hang on.
My share screen is green.
Yep, I got it. I think I had to hit all participants here, so go for it, Ken, try again.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I downloaded the data probably without crossing out things as far as getting the numbers that are more reflective of people that actually filled out the entirety or hit the submit button. This may include, which based on some of the respondents, something saying 856 wouldn't necessarily include the people that they may have like stopped at a certain point. So I want to, ensure that the surveys that have been counted are specific to those that have submitted it. So those are the ones that I'm inputting, as well as the residents that are submitting it online.
Yeah. So Ken, sorry, how could you end up with 856 there?
I was just going to ask that question.
So that is probably reflective. I didn't press any look through the options to provide the ability to remove the surveys that haven't been completed to the point of pressing the submit button. The number that I gathered was specific to the complete surveys that have been, that the experience has been to press the submit button. So I'm not sure. I have to, I quickly just downloaded whatever report came out. This probably is not reflective of that. There are some questions that allowed survey takers to take more than one or put more than one answer. So that probably, you'll see that throughout the.
Yeah, but just looking at male and female, right there, you've got 830, 821, and you've only inputted 783. So.
Right.
Right.
Anyway,
So that means there are about 70 that have not pressed submit or have just, and I can see which surveys someone would just not, finish the survey.
Oh, really?
Oh, I see.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That many people would have tried to do something and didn't finish it?
And
Wow.
didn't finish it.
Our numbers could be even stronger if they just finished.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that would be interesting, maybe to be able to break those out, Ken. So we'd know that. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the case when we describe the survey process.
Yeah.
I think we've learned during this particular survey period that there were some, some confusing ways that we presented the questions, at least on the hard copy, with regards to the sidewalk question.
Yeah.
As well as, the experience from the resident from a budding town saying that she pressed buttons, maybe.
Yeah, but she didn't submit it. I've clarified with her. Somebody from Westhampton was looking around on our website and decided to try the survey, and she was surprised she could get all the way through it, but she swore to me she never submitted it. So that may be one of these attempted ones.
So that might answer my question, is we really shouldn't take any data unless someone submitted it, right?
Right. So the 783 up to this point, because I input 67,
Yeah.
and I finished it to completion, and then the other, you know,
Yeah.
716 that filled
Yeah.
out the survey online would have completed it, or, you know, pressed the submit button.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll ensure that once I input all of the additional ones that Chris is going to be providing, you know, we'll have a concrete number, because I'll have input those last few, and we'll have maybe 870. I think that's the number that you came to.
Wow.
If we get those 4 or 5 from
Yeah.
this evening.
Yeah. I'm thinking we'll get a couple more by midnight here and there, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't we scroll down? This looks like a heavily female versus anything else respondents, but
Yeah.
what else can we see here anyway?
Here's the age one I'm curious about.
Yeah, and that's not going to be reflective yet, because majority of the hard copies are going to show that 70 to 80 range. So probably with the 20 more that you have to enter plus the 60 I've got.
Yeah.
You know, so we had.
Yeah, I would say a majority of the ones that I entered were 70 or 80.
Yeah.
The age.
Yeah.
So I have to say I'm disappointed with the under 19.
Yeah, very, very few there. Yeah, 18 was it? Yeah, right.
But Jim and everybody, I'm concerned about how much we tried hard to say every member of your household should complete this. And maybe the people who are, you know, under 19 or younger just didn't get asked to complete it. And also my granddaughter did it and sent it off to her. She's 12, and sent it off to her buddies, and that might have been 5 or 6 people, and they found some of those questions to be questions they didn't get, you know, they didn't understand.
I can imagine.
You know, they were young, you know,
Yeah.
too young. So that's part of it.
Yeah, I guess I was expecting some of the more the teens, you know, from the 16 on up would have been some of the ones that would have responded, but not younger than that. But you know, but anyway, we'll see what we get.
Good. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tempted to look at all of this, but I'm going to ask that we don't.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just going to look at it again when it's all done anyway.
Was there a specific question that you wanted? It's been fascinating getting to input this, because it has run the gamut as far as people being residents really not, what's the word? I want to use the words from the survey. Strongly opposed to any sort of conversion of single family to multi-housing apartment buildings, even condos.
Strongly oppose that?
Yeah, accessory apartments, tiny homes. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And I think, well, once I input the final hard copies,
Could we run?
I was afraid of that as from
Yeah.
a housing authority perspective. I hope people understood it, because I wonder if people check that, but also check that they want some, you know, especially senior citizens, they want more affordable units in town. I mean, that's the way to do it.
right?
So, do they really understand?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that will be discovered.
Yeah.
I think too.
And I think you'll see in some of these too, as we can input some of the comments that people made. At least I'm seeing some comments on the hard copy. I'm not sure how much people commented on the online one, but on the hard copy, various people said, you know, it's too expensive to live here. I'm happy now, but you know, the taxes are too high. The seniors are getting driven out of town. I mean, I've been seeing comments like that, you know, from the hard copies I've gotten. But
Yeah.
Anyway, how about could we pop to the last one? I'm just curious where some of those priorities are versus, you know, the solar and the greenway and just out of curiosity right now. Very last one, I think. Yeah.
The recreational resources. This is the land use questions.
No, the very, very last question, Ken. Let's see, is that,
Strategies for growth.
okay, wait a minute. No, no, it was the one about having the broadband and the solar and
Oh, yeah,
repurposing
yeah,
the building.
infrastructure. That
Infrastructure.
was interesting too. Here.
I guess it wasn't the last one? Okay, sorry. Oh, it was on the hard copy. Okay, never mind.
So again, for any of these questions, Ken, because it's all entered electronically, we can slice it any way. So if we want to look at a particular question by age group, we could do that.
Yeah.
If we wanted to look at it by gender, we could do that.
Yeah, I haven't downloaded the raw data.
Yeah.
This is just the
Yeah.
the quick, easy report
Right.
that they provide.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think if there's an analysis based on, you want in this report, this action report, to say that, a majority of the respondents were seniors or residents over the age of, 50. And their concerns are very different than the 25% or whatever the percentage of respondents that are under the age of 50 that have school age children and have other priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you kind of slice and dice if you want to look at a specific age group, or if you want to look at men versus women. I don't know if you'd really do that though. But definitely age group, you can probably find that there's some sort of trend with age groups and strategies for growth for the town. Yeah, and I think that'll happen once we have all of the data to put
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's good though.
I can't remember if we also had, was there a section where we marked the household income? Can we look at data by household income also?
We did not put
No.
household income on this survey.
We didn't, no.
So your identifiers are how long you've been a resident, gender identity, if you're a homeowner, renter, or household member, what best describes your household, your age. That's pretty much, and then where you live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a fair number of people actually did fill that out on the hard copy.
Yeah.
We've got quite a good variety around town from what I can see. So that's good.
So I'm just going to step away for a second, but I'm listening.
Yeah. No, so I think that's fine, Ken. I would agree that we don't want to go through every question here. I think this was just some enlightenment. I was getting a feeling that the bike path was coming across pretty strongly in the things that I had seen. So this kind of confirms that. And then I think the public utility and open space stays in there, and renewable energy too. So it's interesting to me though that the public safety complex and the public sewer water didn't rise a little higher than those are right now. And that may change a bit with the hard copies that I've got too. So, but interesting. So good. Well, that's a good first look anyway. So I'm just thrilled with.
And so what I'm gonna probably take once I meet with Chris to receive the final copies. Probably this is actually for just just to describe the process of inputting them. It literally, I either have, the actual survey set up, or I was at the my auto dealer to get some work done in my car, and I had my phone, and I brought all of the surveys and just inputting it while I was waiting for my car. So I have found that I've been able to, whether I'm waiting for something or whatnot, be able to just put it in, just have these as an appendage of myself.
Yeah, good. Okay. Great. Well, thanks for that so far, and we will schedule a time to get together and hand over the rest. But like I say, we've got a couple hours, so we'll see if we get a couple at midnight. And then Cindy, for what it's worth, I picked up the box at the library today, and I've got it in my car, the plastic box and the sanitizer. And then tomorrow I'll have to catch up with Ed, because he's got the padlock for the main that's around our main box at Town Hall.
Why don't you let us work on that? Pick that up.
Yeah, no,
Do
I
you
just
mind?
want to remind him that he's got to find the key for that because it wasn't his padlock. I think it was Randall's. So I'm going to be down there early in the morning. I'm going to do a standout in the morning. So I'm going to be down there first thing.
I'm going to be there at 11, so if that helps you
Yeah,
to
okay.
coordinate.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we'll help remove that heavy
Yeah.
box that was
Yeah, no,
formerly an owl house. Yeah.
I'll check it first thing I'm there. And once
Okay,
I've done that,
well-
I think we'll call it quits and then it can go away after that. Yeah.
And my husband and I took down the words on the sign. That was the Mothers Club sign. We took them down around 5:30 this evening.
Okay.
We just said vote September 1. That's what we replaced it with, and so that's down
Very
right
good.
now.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Well, thanks everybody for all the work you've put into getting the word out. I think people are going to be sick about hearing from us about this, but
I don't agree. I don't agree, Chris. I don't think they're going to be sick. People need to know what the results are. And I
Yeah,
think
they
the
do. I
fact
mean,
that we've had such a fantastic, am I right, Ken? The Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is going to go, whoa, Southampton. Yeah.
I mean, so, this is just I shared with you, or I didn't share with you, but this particular project, the DLTA project, this is funding that comes from an annual budget line from the legislature. And the rep from the Department of Housing and Community Development, my supervisors, the executive director, myself, I shared the PSA with her, and then also shared that the survey is open, and I think for a small community, that it is something to celebrate, that there are all these there were all these responses to the survey. So it definitely didn't fall on deaf ears that we, in the middle of a pandemic, we've somehow been able to, engage as we have, whether or not it's being annoying with our little cute messages or the PSAs that we create or the Facebook posts that you guys post. I think it's great. And I think it's just a testament to the hard work that your committee is doing. It's funny because working in other communities and seeing the mechanisms by which the word gets out, it's very different. And knowing that, and being part of your conversations early on in the process of the logistics of it and having that spreadsheet for the logistics, that's something that, not a lot of communities are necessarily engaging in. And so, I can only do so much from my desk at home, and send it to my folks out at PVPC, but the people in the community are the ones that are making it happen. So I think, it definitely is something to celebrate. And the report will, I think, give the town an idea of either changes of thoughts and priorities, or really confirm, a lot of the things that you may have been working on, and now you're like, okay, full steam ahead. This is a priority, and it was wanted 8 years ago. So you need to be working on it, and this is the way you'll get there.
No, and I think it just goes back to, how we need to absolutely share the results with the residents, because this has just been an overwhelming response. I think it exceeded my expectations, honestly. And I think we need to really be accountable and thank everybody for all their input. So that's just great. So
Yep.
Good.
I remember saying I would have been thrilled with 500.
I know. So anyway, okay. Well, other than that, I think I don't think we have any other thing. There's some new business, unless I'm missing anything on the agenda. I think we kind of talked a little bit about next steps. New business, I think we are kind of in a mode to wait and see. I guess maybe Ken, just a thought in terms of time frame and with all your other responsibilities, what do you think we're looking at realistically for maybe an interim report to us and then a final report? I don't know.
Well, I mean, so the interim report can be, the raw data and the way that it's presented, and then identifying some trends. I can't recall if, and packaging up the data in a way that the community can,
Right.
consume it.
Yeah.
Whether or not a public meeting of that, of presenting that data and anything else that we can glean in a public meeting virtually, can explore that if the committee thinks that in addition to the community survey, if there's, because the thing is, the town already has priorities, and this may shine some light on new priorities, but it also has to address the priorities that it didn't address before, or that you're going to find a way to move forward on those priorities from your 2030 plan. So in essence, the action plan, so you have the 9 various elements of the master plan. What basically we're updating is the implementation section.
Right.
And that is your, you've had this master plan for 7 years. This X, Y, and Z happened during those 7 years, maybe nothing, or very little, or, some bylaw or regulation changes, whatever. And then, it's 2020. What in the next 5 years are you going to be doing or addressing within either some new established priorities or the priorities that have already been identified? How are you going to get there? Cindy went through this effort with the open space plan as we're finalizing that. It's the matrix, right? It's here are the goals, here are the strategies, the objectives that we're trying to accomplish. These are the responsible parties, like Chris said in the beginning about the charge of the Master Plan Implementation Committee. You want to ensure that those committee members that all have a responsibility for various sections of this implementation process are participating in your committee. And the cost and time frame. Re-examine time frame, really create a moving document that will give the Master Plan Implementation Committee and the town the resources.
And some suggested resources as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'll give, some funding opportunities or some technical assistance that, from various department and agencies within the state, the Commonwealth, as well as probably suggesting that, the update of your plans and continuous hazard mitigation plan. You have your open space plan. You have your master plan. You have your MVP action grant, which helped funded the OSRP, right? So it's, there's just various components and all moving pieces. And identifying those resources.
Well, I think too, as we go forward, and this could be a topic for the future, but I think with the open space plan getting done and then this one getting redone or re-verified, we probably do need to talk about, where some responsibilities lie in the future of how do things move forward, given that we've got different responsibilities. But is it fair to say that maybe we could do an interim report, guys, in 3 weeks, or what's real, Ken? I mean, you tell us.
I think 3 weeks is, at least get you the final raw data, and then, have the committee look at it, and maybe I can identify some initial trends.
Because I think, going back to Jim's question about, there may be ways that we want to slice some of this stuff too from, whether it's gender or age or something. There may be ways that, depending on how you pull it together, we might have some input and some suggestions there to for you there. I don't know. So that's why I was thinking of needing maybe an interim report discussion just to kind of go through it first ourselves. Okay. All right. So with that in mind, guys, how about thoughts for a next meeting? I don't think there's any other new business that I'm aware of, unless anybody has anything offhand. Do you? Anybody? Christina? Nobody?
Well, I just wanted to backpedal just a little bit with a question for Ken.
Sure.
And that is about the distribution of the results. Will the results be available to all residents online when they're all compiled?
I would suggest that it can be. Just, once I think as we finalize all of the data that Chris has, that will end up coming to me to input the hard copies, and then any remaining ones up until midnight. I actually have to officially close the survey, so maybe I'll close it at 7 a.m. Maybe.
Okay. Okay.
But residents will have access to it.
Yeah, and I think this committee, once it receives the interim report, or just kind of a quick snapshot of the data that has been collected and maybe identifiable trends. Once I get all of the data and input that, I definitely will share that with this committee. And I think to be prepared for that meeting in 3 weeks, that the committee can give their ideas too. But I think, Christina, that after that, we would figure out what gets out to the community with regards to this survey process.
Okay.
I think that it should be shared. I mean,
Yeah. No,
a lot of effort
definitely.
was made to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to, a public presentation of some sort, whether that be a public hearing, co-meeting, select board, planning board, whatever, but also to have it posted on our town website. I guess one of the things I'm wondering about, because I know the plan itself was gigantic, and, many, many pages, and this is, this report could be, fairly lengthy depending. I'm wondering about some sort of executive summary type thing that might be 10 pages or something that could also be posted so that people could go through that, pretty easily. And if they didn't feel like going through, say, a 50 or 60 page document, they might be able to go through an executive summary and get a sense of how their input is reflected.
You mean as the final product?
Yes, as the final product. So both the report, but then some sort of executive summary of it, I guess is what I'm saying. That would be just a shorter, well, yeah, a summary, a shorter version. Because I think, people would like to know, but I don't know that they're going to have the patience to read and read and read and read and read. Maybe some will, but I think people would like to have a quick look at, what did, I said something about this. What did the rest of my community say, kind of thing. So I think if we could have that in kind of a snapshot.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing is really the goal of the survey was to get the sentiment of the community, right? So whether or not we're establishing, a confirmation of the previous priorities that have been identified by Southampton in 2013 or during your last master planning process, you're going to want to include discussion of what happened in 2013, and you also want the snapshot of this is 2020 and we started this process in 2018, I think, is when you ramped back up with the master plan implementation committee, understanding that, giving some sort of setting for why are we doing this now, I think it's going to be a multitude of various things that go into the final report, including both the data that informs it, as well as, maybe some of the various experiences that you've had within the community, either at a select board meeting or planning board meeting, understanding some of that history of exploring a lot of the priorities that were, examined before.
Let me just ditto what you're saying. I do agree that giving this information in a way that's easy to read, palatable, interesting, supportive, positive is going to be really a critical part of what you do, Ken, at this point, because you know, you can't change the data. The data is going to be there, whatever it is, but presenting it in a way that's positive, that we can happily advertise and we can say, thank you for your participation.
Mhm.
Here it is, and not have people go, oh my gosh, another, you know, lengthy report that's hard to wade through. That's where I think we need to go right now.
For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would just add, in addition to a summary, look how we were all drawn in when Ken shared his screen and showed pictures. I think people are much more interested in looking at graphs.
Yep.
It's quick, it's easy,
Mhm.
you consume it. I don't know if we need a graph for every question, but that rather than text, frankly, is what people are going to look at.
Right. I mean, I imagine if, you know, there's going to be some future presentation from the community, it's going to be a PowerPoint. And, you know, there's one of those things that I've done multiple presentations, and I know which presentations that I really wish I did over again because I had too much text on a slide versus, you know, a couple of photos, and then, you know, being as presenting that as I did, you know, that point is taken.
Well, and we might, you know, we can think about it, but we might find some other creative ways to present some results too.
Oh, for sure.
You know, I mean, not exactly our PSA, but, you know, we might figure out something orally that we could do that could be creative and interesting on a particular topic, for example. I mean, I don't know, but whatever. Let's not be bound by the written word only. So
Exactly. And the thing is, you know, this master plan, you have a master plan that you can take to your granting agencies. You'll have this action plan as well as all the other plans that you've, you know, kind of adopted over the years. This particular product, sure, it's going to result in a written report, but that doesn't, you know, the way that it gets out to the community, to get the buy-in from the community that we went through this particular community process. That's the important part, I think. You know, you want the community to really be on your side when you're saying, okay, now, you know, we've identified that acquiring this land is important to the community. So 90% of the residents that, you know, answered on the survey, and you take that to your granting agency, you know, that's going to be helpful for you. And
okay.
Good.
All right. So in terms of meeting choices, 3 weeks from now would be the 21st of September, or the 28th would be the last Monday of September.
I propose the 21st.
Okay. Any other thoughts, Jim, Christina,
let's see.
Ken?
Actually, no, I think that should be fine because my Monday meetings, if I have a planning board meeting, because some planning boards meet on Mondays,
Okay.
I'm able to meet at this time, 7.
Okay.
I'll just
All
have the back-to-back.
Sure.
That'd be fine with me.
That's okay. All right. And
Yes.
Jim, does that look sort of okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, let's go for September 21st at 7 o'clock as usual. And other than that, I think we are done with the agenda in record time. So I will take a motion to adjourn if everybody is willing to do so.
I move to adjourn.
All right. Somebody second, please.
I'll second that.
All right. Everybody in favor, just say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Aye. All right. Let's call the meeting at 8:08. Thank you, everybody. And thanks, Ken, for pulling all this together.
Sure.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks,
Very good.
everybody.
Thanks, Ken.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.